Deconverted Man here. Welcome to Atheism 101. I saw a video where a theist, in this case a Hindu, didn't understand what atheism is or isn't and attacked it in a very weird way, not getting it, not understanding it. And this has happened many, many times. So I thought, well, maybe it's time to re explain atheism to those who have no idea what it is, or they think they know what it is, but they don't. I'm not going to be on camera and I don't want any distractions, just my voice, my arguments. That's it. And you can look up to make sure that I'm getting things right if you want. So let's start with the word. What's in a word? The word atheist. There's a number of different dictionaries that you can look at, different encyclopedias, different things you can look at the word and try to understand what it means and the where it came from, and it's Latin, and it means, the a is without, and then theos is God, so it's without God. And what does that mean? And over time, like all words, this word has evolved, has changed from this philosophical stance that it once was of there is no God to I don't believe in God. And I did a small scale survey of non believers, and they didn't know, but they all had agreed upon the word atheist to mean I don't believe in God. So I think that if somebody was to do a larger poll of atheists or non-believers and ask what the word atheist means, I think that this would show true. I do suspect that if you included theists, that you would see that most theists would think that atheism means a rejection of God, even though that doesn't appear to be the stance of many modern atheists, or what people call new atheists, or whatever you want to say the term is. There is a difference between saying there is no God, rather I don't believe in God, or I lack belief in God. There's also a difference between saying I don't believe in God and I believe there is no God. These are different statements. And different atheists have different positions on this, but they share in common one thing and one thing only. They do not believe in a God. Whether they believe there is no God or can be no God, or they simply lack a belief in God, or however they want to frame that, they all share that in common. And in fact, that is the only thing that makes anyone an atheist. Atheism refers to that and nothing more. It is a descriptive term, not a prescription. It does not tell you anything else other than that you don't believe in God. That's it. There is no atheist worldview. Theists and apologists love to pretend that there is, but there isn't. Atheism is perhaps part of a worldview, but it cannot inform your worldview. Those are ideas that come from the religious mindset that think that God informs you of all these other beliefs that are attached to God. But if you don't believe in a God, then you don't believe in the ideas attached to God. Different various religions will propose that they offer answers to difficult questions that life seems to propose: meaning, purpose, grand order, your place in the universe, your place in the world. Atheism doesn't offer any answers at all to any question other than the question, do you believe in God? And if the answer is no, you're an atheist. And that's it. It doesn't matter what some philosopher somewhere said about atheism. They were either right or wrong. We give way too much credit to different writers that have said things. Okay, cool. And Nietzsche said, I don't care. Doesn't matter. Either he was right or he was wrong. He was wrong, but he thought he was right. And he wrote a book, and that's it. So, how do I know I am right and not wrong? Well, because I've talked to many atheists, I've looked up the information on the word atheist, I've done survey, I've researched in as much as I can this question of what this word is or isn't. And so my conclusions are based on the evidence I've gathered. But that's not enough for some. Because for some people, they need or want or seem to want atheism to be a religion or a worldview or something easy to compartmentalize, to say, we're on different teams. I'm on the team God, you're on the team not God. No, I'm on the team I don't believe in you, in your God, rather. That's it. I'm not on the team. Atheists have different ideas about politics and morals and other ideas, all the things we don't necessarily agree on things. In fact, some years ago, there was an effort to do what was called Atheism Plus that went terribly, horribly wrong and was largely rejected as it fell apart in shambles because it tried to make atheism a thing that it wasn't, a movement of activists for everything rather than just focusing on atheism. And I remember when I was first very new to atheism, I joined an atheist group that they had different talks, and the leader wanted it to be about atheism instead of all these other random talks that we had. And everybody kind of rejected that. It's like, look, we're just talking. We're just meeting together. We're just atheists talking. We're not going to talk about atheism per se, whatever that means. But, hey, fair enough. He wanted a group to talk about atheism. What is that? Just not believing in God. So it's hard to talk about that because that's it. That's it. That's all you. But that means that you don't have a meaning or a purpose, or you don't have this or that. No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean anything. But without God, then X, Y, and Z is true. You don't know that. That's your belief that you have. With or without God, we're here. That's for sure. That's for sure as we can be. With or without religion, we're still here. And how we deal with and cope with life is a struggle that atheism doesn't address. It doesn't do any of those things because it isn't a thing like religion or like a belief in God. And by the way, just believing in a God wouldn't get you very far. Just, I believe in God. Well, what do you mean by God? Well, it's energy. What do you mean? It's like a 9-volt battery. You put it on your tongue, you feel some tingly sensation. That's God. Okay, so that doesn't get you very far, but that could be your belief. And technically, I suppose you'd be a theist, just a very different type of theist. What's amazing is the continual retreat and admission of religion about God, in that many are admitting more and more that science can't prove God, and then saying, oh, but science can't prove everything anyways. That's scientism. Okay, cool. So what do you have then? What evidence do you have for God? If you don't have any, why should I believe in it? And that's the position of an atheist, is simply, why should I believe in that? If you don't give me any evidence, what do you have? Well, I don't have scientific evidence. Okay, what evidence do you have? Historical evidence. Well, that would also fall under scientific scrutiny. I have philosophical evidence. What the bleep is philosophical evidence? How does that work? How can you be sure that that's true? Scrutiny, investigation, being skeptical. These come with the territory, but not necessarily. Because atheism, again, an atheist, doesn't mean that you're a skeptic. You could believe in angels and an afterlife, reincarnation, devils and the demons, and a hell, and anything else. As long as it wasn't God, technically you would be an atheist. Although I do find that most atheists do reject other supernatural claims. Supernatural, that's an odd word, isn't it? Supernatural, da, 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 flying through the sky like Superman. Superman doesn't exist, so supernatural doesn't exist. How can you say that? Well, there's no evidence of it. Oh, yes, no, we saw this thing and that. And it's like, why do you think that that's supernatural? Atheism doesn't destroy anything, doesn't get rid of anything, but it does free you, if you will, of a single belief that you had. Now, that belief is attached to other beliefs. So what happens when you let that go? You now have to find new beliefs or new ideas to replace it. Or perhaps you hold to those ideas, just now without a God. If you believe that a God gave you purpose, obviously once you stop believing in God, well, now you have to think something else gives you a purpose. What? Well, what was God? Maybe God was you all along. You were the thing that was driving forward your life, not God, and therefore you are the thing that gives yourself purpose. Or maybe it's your career, or a relationship, or a goal, or whatever, but none of that can come from not believing in God. You have to figure it out on your own. There's no manual to turn to, no book to look at. There's lots of books on atheism and atheists and why people deconvert or aren't Christian or whatever. But there isn't a guideline. There cannot be one. Because it is simply a label of what isn't. I isn't a believer in this object labeled God. Well, that must mean you're a materialist or a naturalist. No, it doesn't. It must not mean any of that. It doesn't mean any of that. Stop assuming that you know the atheist. Ask them questions and find out what sort of beliefs or ideas they hold and why, and then you'll actually get to know them as a person. I know, amazing. You actually have to listen to people. There's those bazillion different atheist call-in shows of different sorts with different personalities, good, bad, and other. And people come on, try to prove God, and why is that? Why is that? Why do you think that proves God? Why, why are you even trying to prove God to me? Why does it matter so much if I believe in this or not? Why do you care what I believe or don't? And they have different reasons for that. Different people have different reasons why they care what I believe or don't believe. And what's interesting in many ways about religion is that it teaches people that if they don't believe that something bad will happen. Oh, so terrible. Okay, well, that's interesting of an idea. Is it true, though? Now, if atheism was this religion or worldview, what would it look like exactly? What would it be? Hey, knock on the door. Hi, have you heard the good news? There's no God. And that's it. Okay, goodbye. That's it. Wait. Come back. What happens when we die? Oh, nobody knows. Yeah, you're probably just dead. Whatever. Oh, well, that sucks. I don't like that. Maybe there's an afterlife. I really don't know. But there's no God, so don't worry about that. But then there's no judgment. Oh, yeah, there's no judgment. In the afterlife, there's only judgment here and now. That's it. But then that means people will get away with doing bad things. Yeah, it does. And it also means people will go unrewarded for doing good things. Damn, that sucks. But reality is still real, whether we like it or not. Is this a universe devoid of God? Well, I can't say definitively. I can only say I don't believe in this thing, God. And I don't even really necessarily know what God is. Although I know people love to pretend that they know what God is. And I just go, oh, that's interesting. Why do you believe that? Because I actually want to know why they believe what they believe. Do the apologists out there really want to understand what it means to not believe in God? And we've tried different tactics. Atheists have tried different phrases and catchphrases and bumper sticker type slogan, like the one of, I just believe in one less God than you do. Well, if they thought about it, then didn't take it to be an argument of some sort, if they thought about it, they'd realize that's actually true. They don't believe in all these other gods. They think those other gods are made up, just like I do. But they happen to not believe that about their God. They believe their God's the real God and all the other ones are made up. Whereas I just think all the gods are made up. So there is that in common. There have been events in my life that are weird that happened, that are hard or difficult to explain, make interesting stories, but I don't believe they're anything more than just a story. They're not something that I should or could use as evidence for anything. It's just weird that happened. Sometimes weird things just happen, and you don't know the answer. Why be an atheist? Oh, I don't know. Why not? I mean, the belief of God comes with a lot of ideas, perhaps. Ideas that either come from you or come from religion. And some people do make their own ideas about God. They sure do. And these are some wild, wacky ideas out there. And of course, every now and then you'll encounter the person that says, I'm God, or I'm the son of God. And they're walking around, oh, yes, I know. Follow me and listen to me. I have all this wonderful advice for you, and all these little catchphrases. And they're trying desperately to make a cult. So they can get your money or attention, love, and affection. Well, your religion can say anything. Anyone can say anything. Anyone can make any claim. The difference is there any
actual proof for that claim. Not your belief in it, but evidence for it. And if not, why not? Maybe we just haven't found it yet. I've had people tell me, oh, God is beyond logic, beyond reason. Oh, really? How do you know that? If it's so beyond comprehension, how do you comprehend that it's uncomprehensible? So there is something you can comprehend about it. Somewhat of a paradox, but okay. But atheism, simply stated, I don't believe in God. That's it. There is no God. Maybe. Depends on what you mean by God. There's certainly versions of God that I'd have to say no to because they're paradoxical in nature. A God that requires 1 + 1 to be a billion is not a God that can exist. This is an incoherent God. A God that is so well hidden that it cannot be found is not a God that we would ever find or know anything about. So we can't say anything about it other than it's so hidden that we can't find it. Well, duh. Of course it's hiding. That's why we can't find it. It's kind of a circular idea that doesn't tell us anything about what it is. It's the thing that made us all. What if the thing that made us all is just the universe? Why is that so bad? Well, does that send shivers down your spine and body's aching all the time? Goodbye, everybody. We gotta go. Oh, sorry. Why can't we just accept that we're made by our parents? We're made by the world, the universe. What's so wrong with that? Why is that so scary? Oh, it's so random. It's not pure random. There's a filtering mechanism. But still, why are you afraid of not believing? Are you afraid of not believing? See, I don't know. I don't want to assume things. But if you are a believer in God and you're listening to my words, I want you to really understand that not believing in God doesn't grant any other idea that you have that you think it does. And I'm actually a little bit quite tired of explaining to you that fact. I'm going to keep doing it, but I just want to say it's annoying. It's frustrating. Atheist is simply somebody who has said, you know what, this whole God idea is just an idea. And until someone can demonstrate otherwise, I'm going to treat it like this. I'm not going to treat it like it's real. So whether you are Christian or Hindu or whatever, the idea that atheism prescribes or subscribes us to anything or disassembles or dismantles any aspect of civilization or anything like that is just nonsense. Because it's not true. It's not a worldview. It's not a religion. It's simply a label, and it doesn't tell you anything about me other than I don't believe in God. All right, I think that explains it. I think I've said it in every possible way I could. Hopefully, I won't have to explain it again, but I'm sure that I'll have to do this again some other time. Maybe I'll do Skepticism 101 next. Until then, well, I think you should be skeptical. And if you don't know what that means, well, then tune in next time and maybe I'll explain skeptical. I don't know if I will or won't. Who knows? Until then, though, take care. Don't forget to drink some water, which I'm going to do, and do stuff and be good and whatever. All right. Bye, everybody. Goodbye. Oh, man. Also, I'm going to maybe look at this Hindu video next time. I don't know.